Like yin and yang?
No, like yin and yang.
No, it's yin and yang. They're opposite.
You are listening to Starfield Raw.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Starfield Raw. This is episode 10. I am Joe the Widget, and I am joined by my amazing co-hosts, starting with Rook the Gray.
Yeah, I'm starting to get there. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about, guys. It's episode 10. I'm excited. We've made it up to episode 10 with a good showing from listeners, so I'm happy. So let's get to it.
And we're joined, as always, by Archon the White.
Oh, White. Wow. Who's the oldest one here?
We're not going
It's episode 10, guys. It's episode 10. We made
It's a
it.
milestone.
We made it.
We hit our first milestone episode. With that, we got a little something special we're going to do tonight. We're going to be introducing our first challenge. And when we do these challenges, we really would like it if you guys joined in and created a new character and followed the rules of the challenge and then let us know how you're doing with the challenge. That's the big part of it. We'll get in that in a little bit. But first, we want to talk about the recent patch. It's a minor patch, and it's mostly just graphics and bug fixes. So when you guys want to start into that?
Fix the puddle, guys. The puddle's gone. You can't put buckets on NPCs' heads anymore and steal from them. Just minor things like that. They took the fun out of the game.
Of course, as soon as they did that fix, people have already found other ways to exploit the game. So
naturally,
I mean, naturally,
any game they're going to find ways of exploiting because it's code. And if you know code,
to be fair, everyone has fun with games in different ways. Some people have fun playing it on the straight and narrow. Some people have fun by hacking the crap out of it. So.
And the reason why I don't complain is because this is a single-player game. It's not linked to other people, so you're not affecting anybody else's game.
Exactly.
So have fun any way you want to.
And even if you know the glitches are out there, I mean, they're out there everywhere, all over the internet.
That's one of the best things about Bethesda titles is you can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah. Doesn't mean you have to use it, so...
One of the big things that fixed that actually affected me pretty good was the 2 graphic fix they did. They addressed the upscaling issue that could cause texture to become blurry, which happened to me very frequently, and resolved an issue that could cause photosensitivity issues when scrolling through your inventory menu, which also occurred with me. Now my game looks stunning. It looks like it's truly on Ultra. And the performance is so much better. I go into my inventory, and sometimes I come out of my inventory and would be at like 5 or 6 frames a second for a little while until the game caught up, and then it would be fine. It doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, I haven't crashed in a while either, I've noticed. So
my issue I'm still having with graphics is on my main character, so hopefully they address that, because I lost what's that city called? New Atlantis. The ground just completely gave away in a certain section of New Atlantis. So I hope they fix more of the graphics issues.
Yeah, I know they're constantly working on it, especially a title as big as this. I mean, they had their 10 million player announcement and all that not long ago, and this game is one that they said they're going to support for many years to come, so hopefully it's the case.
So one thing I've seen a lot of happiness about with this patch is the display issue on the Razor Leaf with its storage containers and weapon racks. Mm-hmm. You would take another ship and all your items would disappear. So they did fix that.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was huge.
And the same with the mannequins.
One thing we have talked about and some listeners have requested is us doing a 0.5 episode every now and then when big news comes out. And we do have, all 3 of us work and have jobs and lives and stuff like that. But if big news comes out, like they do, like new additions to the game, new quests, things like that, we might do a 0.5 episode and release it sometime in the middle of the week.
Yeah, that's if it's a big patch like that, then you can pretty much guarantee it, because we want to get that information out to you guys as quickly as we can. I know other sites and other resources do it, but I mean, we're here for you guys too, so we want to get it out there.
All right, guys, let's talk about this challenge. So our first official challenge of the show, and there is no real time frame on this. We're just going to play it to have fun, but we're calling it the Yin Yang Challenge. So the idea behind this is to play the opposite that you normally play in a game. For instance, me, myself, I usually go the good guy route. I sneak and I snipe. That's what I do. In almost every game I play like this. So I will be taking the evil route, the black side of the yin yang. And my rules are thus follows. I must take the worst option in chats possible when dialogue options come up. I must attack if I'm given the attack option in dialogue, or otherwise. Crime is number 1, and my combat style is going to be run and gun with heavy weapons. I'm going to be a pirate through and through. No sneaking, no persuasion if I can avoid it, and no kindness of any kind. I name my character Edward Teach.
And I am the white side of this, because the way that Widget's playing is the way I usually do play. I'm usually a running gunner. I'm usually a attack first, talk later. I do like to persuade some if I can, but otherwise I really don't care. I just blow everything up. So I am going the most pacifist route I possibly can. My rules are going to be I must avoid killing as much as physically possible. There are a couple areas like the very beginning of the game where you can't really avoid it. Especially like when you go up into space combat. I actually sat there at the beginning of the first mission where the pirates come out of the ship and you're with the miners, and I sat there and let the miners and the NPCs kill everything so that I didn't have to kill anything. But once I got up into space, you have to kill the 3 Crimson Fleet ships to move on. So hopefully those are my only 3 kills the whole game. That's my plan. I also cannot steal anything. No pickpocketing, no opening safes, no doing anything sneaky like that. Obviously, I can sneak around, but I can't steal anything. No contraband, no drugs, no alcohol. Always have to take the best dialogue possible, and I have to be as selfless as possible. So this is going to be...
I did make my character, and I got his traits and everything set up. We'll talk about that in another episode.
So mine is already in the run. I have set up this challenge for myself because this is the exact opposite of how I always play. I always play the altruistic options, helping everybody else out, keep letting the people keep their rewards and money. No, I'm playing the middle ground, but I'm also playing the most greedy and self-centered character I could possibly think of. So I must choose all greedy options. I cannot use anything but pistols, and I must persuade as much as possible as long as it benefits me. It's all about me. I'm a bounty hunter, so she's a bounty hunter named Sadie, and she is a Serpent's Embrace character that is a native of UC and also an extrovert. So I always have a companion with me, so it gets really interesting as I'm doing the all about me.
Man, I thought about, we were talking about this challenge in the chat earlier today, and I was sitting there going, man, Constellation is going to despise me.
Oh, yeah, sure, they will.
It's going to be interesting. Very hard for me to do this route. I think I took Bounty Hunter as well because it had the pirate style piloting stuff I needed. And I took the Adoring Fan, so I forgot what that one's called. I took Neon
Hero
City
Worshipper.
Street Rat. Yeah, Hero Worshipper. I took the Neon City Rat, and I took Wanted.
That'll be fun.
Be careful, I'm coming for you.
That's good for a pirate.
Yeah, I'm going to name my first ship. I'm going to make it as much of a pirate ship looking thing as possible. And I'm going to call it the Queen Anne Revenge. So if you know, you know.
See, I made my character look really old and frail, and he basically looks like Gandhi because I'm going past the fist.
Please tell me you took kid stuff.
I did not. No.
Oh, that would have been
would have
great.
been hilarious, but no. I went with gosh, what did I go? Oh, I went with Universal Sanctorum. and I went with, I think, introvert, if I remember correctly.
You're talking about that one.
Either introvert or extrovert. I think I went extrovert.
I think, extrovert would be more your...
Oh, yeah, because you wanted your companion to be able to protect you.
Yeah, because I went more extrovert, and I actually got really, really lucky. And when I got to Crete, I actually found an EM weapon right off the bat, so that's going to help me not kill things and just put everything to sleep. So,
it's going to be hard for you to get money, though.
Ammo. I just got to find ammo. Yeah, I'm not gonna. It's going to be so hard to make money, which is like my main. I love making money in this game, but it's going to be so hard to do because I can't loot any corpses. I can't steal any, like, get in any safes, anything like that. So
that's going to be tough. Yeah,
can't steal ships and sell them. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to have to find a way, maybe outposts or something. And
I'm going to have to steal my first ship ever. I still haven't done it.
What?
Yeah.
You're missing out. I've done nothing but steal ships when I'm going after my bounties in this game.
I am going full pirate, and I'm going to have to do the Crimson Fleet. And I'll explain why when I go through my playthrough, but it's going to be like detrimental for my character, I think.
Well, you're playing a space pirate. Of course you're going to have to go Crimson.
Yeah, and the benefits you get after, once you go Crimson Fleet side, is well worth it for my character.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting playthrough. I'm actually enjoying, but you know how hard it is to find 43 Ultramag ammo?
Yeah, that's going to be my problem.
Yeah,
ammo for that EM weapon.
That EM weapon, if you got the rifle, I believe it used the 3 kilowatt, which is a very common because of the Orions.
Yeah, you shouldn't have too many issues with that.
But I still got to buy it.
Even the 1.5 I get all the time.
Because I can't loot it, I got to buy it. Which is going to be hard to find.
So here's a question. Is it against the rules to loot a facility, say, like an abandoned facility?
As long as they're not red, or I don't have to lockpick or something to get into it.
As long as it's not stealing.
A lockpicking skill.
Right,
yeah, if it's just sitting there, I can take it.
I'm actually going to pick up pickpocketing, which pickpocket. I've never done that before on this game, so that's going to be interesting.
I'm not even going to take lockpicking or pickpocketing.
Man, I'm going to get so many bounties ranked up. It's going to be crazy.
I so wish I could import a bounty hunter into your game, hunting you down.
Right. Dude. So the whole point of the challenges is for us to have a specific way to play the game that's challenging to us and have fun with it, and for you guys to do the same with us. So we really, really want to hear which one you guys are doing as a 3 and how your play is going. Give us a little, highlights of it. And I'm still working on setting up that phone-in thing where you can call and record a message to us that we can use to play on the show or whatnot. But you can also do audio recording and send it to us in email, and we will listen through it. And if it's good, we'll put it on the air and talk about it. So we want to hear what you guys have to say.
Or you could just join us in Discord. A lot of listeners are starting to join us in Discord, and we're having a good time in there. So one of us is on a lot, especially in the evenings. At least one of us is on to chat with and stuff. And
I'm going to just do this right now. It's a good time for it. Email us, starfieldbraw@gmail.com. You can find us on X, at StarfieldRaw. On Facebook, StarfieldRaw. Or R.A.W.
No. I verified. I changed it back to Starfield Brawl, just like everything else.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay.
It's the same as everything.
Yeah. So those are the best ways to get a hold of us. We monitor all of our areas, our email messages, you name it. And our X and our Facebook do have our Discord information.
I try keeping them updated with fresh invite links. So if it doesn't go through the first time, give it a day and I'll have it refreshed.
Yeah, we're getting an active chat actually in our Discord, which I like seeing that. I have to sit there and catch up on it.
Yeah, it's fun chatting with all the listeners and stuff like that.
So there you go, guys.
Playing together and in Discord and everything. I mean, I'm in there quite a bit. Rook's in there quite a bit. Wager graces us with his presence from time to time.
So yeah, our first official challenge for Starfield Brawl. Let us know what you guys think. Give it a go with us, and it should be a blast. All right, our playthroughs, guys. So what have you guys been up to this week?
I did a speed run because I wanted to see what it would be like. I wanted to see how fast I could get through the game on New Game Plus. This was on my main character.
While skipping the story, right?
Yep, I skipped the story because I wanted to see just from the time I spawned until the time I was going through the Unity, and I did it in 42 minutes, which I guess from what I see online is not as fast as it could be. But I don't see how I could have gone any faster. I was haul out like going. For lack of better terms,
the catch is there's people who do that professionally for speedrunning, so you don't have all their tips and tricks.
Yeah, I don't know if they're glitching or what, but man, I was just warping from here to here to here to here. I wasn't ever sitting in my cockpit. I mean, I was doing every trick I could think of to go as fast as possible, and I did it in 42 minutes, which for me, I was impressed by that. I enjoyed it. It was fun. But now I'm back. Now I'm back to doing the main story again in New Game Plus 3, and I'm going to try and, for the most part of this, at least for this next week, I'm going to go heavy into this challenge. And but on my main character that's in New Game 3, I'm just going to kind of try and find things to do that I haven't done yet. New quests, new little side quests, things, just to kind of keep it fresh,
Yeah.
So I'm not doing the same things over and over, the same quest lines over and over. I might try something different this time that I didn't do before, like the last time I went UC instead of Crimson Fleet. So maybe this time I'll do Crimson Fleet. I don't know.
Just make sure you don't have any followers with you.
I don't care about the followers.
But it was interesting. Like, I've been doing all the different stories and trying different routes to do different things all the time, and I've been finding so many things. It's crazy. I'll get into my playthrough in a little bit, but yeah, it's nuts how many different routes you can take in this game and different stories you can see.
Yeah, maybe I'll put the moves on Barrett or Osamco this time or something. I don't know. Maybe Andreja. Haven't done her yet. So far, I've only done Sarah. So
Andreja's my boo.
Yeah, she's a lot of people's boo.
I don't know. I seem to like Sarah.
Yeah, I'm kind of outvoted on this show with you guys. Team Andreja 1-2.
I don't know, man. That AI Sarah that's out there, the photo of the AI.
Got you going?
Yeah, that's pretty much all I've been doing this week. It's just kind of doing the speed run and then just kind of going through the main story again on New Game 3 and having fun. I am a little bit later in the episode. We've had a lot of people complaining about the lockpicking system, so I'm going to go into a little bit in depth if we have time today about the lockpicking system. It won't take very long, but like just kind of explaining it's not as hard as you think it is. It's actually really, really easy. So
I've gotten really quick with it.
I'm okay with it. I'm not as fast as Widget, but I'm fast enough.
Well, I mean, how about your playthrough? Like, how you been doing this week?
So, like I said earlier, when we were talking about the fixes, I ran into a glitch after I finished UC Questline, where now every time I land at New Atlantis, the Trade Authority terminal's missing, and the ground from the ramp where the shuttle lands, where your ship lands, that ground area is gone. You fall and land on the surface of the planet. So I was getting frustrated with it, decided this is a good time for me to do my self-imposed challenge, which fit perfectly into y'all's ideas today. That's when I decided I'm just going to start a new character, and I created Sadie, my bounty hunter, and have been having fun with it because I did the Freestar Collective quest so I could get the ship. Now I'm doing all of the smaller side missions, you could say, like Galbank being their collection agent.
Yeah, that's one of the things I want to bring up on the show today, because I think all three of us have done it. I just discovered this earlier the week, is that when you go to the gold bank, I don't know if it's for all of them, but I know in New Atlantis, when you go up to the teller in there and you talk to him, he'll offer you bounty collector, or not bounty, debt collector missions. Mm-hmm. And I noticed that Archon, you only got, what, 2K for your first mission? I got 10.
I got 2K. I wonder, it might have something to do with difficulty, because when I did it on like a newer character, and I was on a lower difficulty. I wasn't on very hard, so that might have something to do with it.
Yeah, because I got the same as Archon, and I'm on normal. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was on my main character, so...
And my final mission, I got 5,500, so... One thing I'm finding out in this game, though, is all these backgrounds they give you, there's not a lot of quest lines for certain ones. Like Bounty Hunter, most of your missions are going to be through... At this point in time, most of your missions are going to be through mission boards.
Yeah, I noticed that your backgrounds really don't have a whole lot to do with the game.
Just it affects some dialogue.
It affects a couple, like there, and only some of them have dialogue things, and it affects what skills you start with. Other than that,
for instance,
it doesn't really affect anything.
My main character is file not found, and a few times in certain dialogue, not just options, but they'll be like going through my record, like when I start the Crimson Fleet, when they're the UC is sitting there going through your file. Well, we really couldn't find anything on you. Pretty unassuming and boring. Okay. And I've had that happen a few times.
Like, yeah. I wish, as an explorer, I wish that background would have given you a little bit more for, like, when you're actually exploring. Yeah. I wish bounty hunters actually had jobs you could take from... what's the name of that group? The Trackers Alliance. And actually do real bounty hunt missions and actually be able to throw people in the jail cells in your ship.
Yeah, I think the main purpose behind the backgrounds is for your own role-playing, but also for your starting 3 skills.
Yeah, that's basically all it really affects. I mean...
Because I noticed the traits have a lot more of effect on your character than your background does.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't really have much to do with it.
Now, I'm hoping that as they continue to progress this game more and more and support it more and more, they actually start adding more quest lines and stuff to it, especially with the DLCs and stuff. But yeah, my game is pretty much, I'm going, Sadie's female, so I'm going to romance Sam Coe to see what happens and see what that's like when you're actually trying to romance him instead of just doing all the friend options.
Nice. Kind of looking forward to hearing about that.
She is a very much self-centered, all about the credits and threatening people than she is being persuasive of any kind.
It might be kind of tough to romance Sam then. He doesn't like that kind of stuff, so we'll see.
Yeah, but she's also about
how that goes.
She's also about following the rule of law, so...
On my last playthrough, I started doing some, like, a lot of the... I had everyone from Constellation pretty much on my ship. I had a crew of 5. And I did the first... I don't know if it's the first mission with Barrett, and it was extremely interesting. I haven't done Sam Coe or anything like that, or Sarah's missions, but... Obviously, I did Andrasia. They were fascinating, but Barrett's was interesting. I've romanced Sarah on my primary character, and I've done Sam Coe all the way up to his main story, and it made me mad because I went after the targets, and Sam Coe's mission has space combat. Okay. And one of the friendlies flew right into my line of fire, and he got mad at me. Wow. And so... I finished the main story, his story, and then went to go talk to him. He said, "I don't want to talk to you right now."
Yeah, that's why you have lots of saves, just in case something like that happens.
I would always roll back if I, pissed off
roll back
Andrasia too much.
No, I didn't roll back. I just went with it because mistakes happen, and he was fine when I'm in his quest, but then I'm sitting here trying to talk to him outside of his quest, and he's just mad at me and refuses to talk to me.
That's rough.
I have a lot on my playthrough, and
go for it.
Yeah, I started my new game plus 3, but before I did that, I actually went through and got all of my powers, did all 25 temples, and I figured out how to do it. And if you guys don't know, I know my co-hosts here, they know how to do it, but the trick of it is you have to get... The temples correlate to the artifacts in your possession. So in order for the eye to be able to find it, you have to have that artifact in your possession, which will find the temple for that artifact. There's one point in the game where you get every single artifact in your possession, and that's right before you go into New Game Plus. So I can never say the name of that stupid device, the artillery or...
The armory.
Yeah, that one. You can disable it, and you can just go about your business. So I did that, disabled it, and I went to the eye, or I went not to the eye, I went down to the lodge where Vlad was there, and he would give me the locations of the temple. You have to do it one by one by one, but I was able to do every single one of them. And I wish I would have known that from the beginning on my first playthrough, because I have powers that are at rank 1 and ones that are at rank 3. Well, now I got 2 at rank 4, but you got the idea. So vast difference between them. Like, I was missing 7 on my last playthrough, and I finally got all of them.
And I did that on my last playthrough, or before my speedrun. I did that as well. I went through, got to that point, went through, and then Vlad stopped giving me places to go, but I still have one power that I don't have, and I don't know what it is because Vlad wouldn't give it to me.
And you already did the final temple run where you have to fight your adversaries.
I just like at the very end when you have all of them and it tells you to make the armory.
That's weird.
Yeah, I didn't make it. I just went and found them all, and I ran out of things to do, but I was still missing one.
Oh, I think it is you have to go back to that temple, because when you go find that artifact and that last artifact, when you do all the fighting with those guys, that counts as a temple for that artifact.
So you go back into the
hidden temple.
Yep. The hidden temple at the end. That's where you get the last power.
I believe so, because I don't. Well, I'll have to test that theory myself. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
I don't know.
Because there is the artifact there, and that is the temple.
Not sure which one it is, but I'm missing one.
I've actually been experimenting more with the different powers and using them differently, because most of the time I use just the one where I can see everybody.
My favorite power against elites is anti-gravity.
That was a good one. And when you rank that one up,
they stop shooting you.
I'm probably going to use that a lot in my pacifist.
There's one I was having a blast with, which is the exact opposite of that one. It's the black hole. And it's not called black hole, but it's similar to it, where the gravity well, that's what it is.
Yeah.
That one's pretty cool. It just launches everything together. And if you have a good, like, heavy weapon, it's just shooting fish in a barrel.
This playthrough, I'm going to be able to not rely on personal atmosphere.
I've been using that a lot when I'm running to the different temples and places I want to go to. A lot.
Late game temples are going to be fun for Archon with his pacifist playthrough and Starborn.
Yeah.
I got my EM weapon.
I don't know. Can you knock out the Starborn?
I don't know. That's the thing.
I hope so.
Otherwise, you can be running.
All right. You want to continue?
Yeah. So I started with my new playthrough, which I'm doing completely solo. I skipped the story completely. And I want to go solo on this because one of the key things I really wanted to do was the Crimson Fleet, but I wanted to join the Crimson Fleet. But the first thing I did was I went and did R.A.W again. And when I was doing each of their little missions to sabotage, whatever, I tried different routes I can go about doing these missions. And every mission, I found a different way to do it, and it was a blast. Found things like, of course, Archon. I was so excited. I found this particular vent I can go down and easily steal a blueprint. And he's like, yeah, I knew about that.
Come on.
No, I didn't. I did it the hard way the first time.
You're supposed to do it.
I went around and actually... Yeah, you could actually convince people, and I was able to sneak past that lady, unlock the door, go in, steal it, and then sneak out. But that was the hard way. Anyway, but I did that because I wanted to get that suit. The plus 25% to stealth is critical if you're doing a stealth play. But what the big thing I did is I went and did the Crimson Fleet because I wanted the cash, because I had a ship in mind. I wanted to build this ultimate like fighter warship, and I had a design and plans in mind. So I needed the capital for it. So Crimson Fleet's a great way to get capital for it. And then I wanted to see what the other side of the story was, and what would happen if I joined the Crimson Fleet, and I did. And it is very, very interesting. The end of the story is not as fanfare as much as if you do UC side, but you still get to use the eye and the key. You get to use the key and all of its benefits there, and there are a lot of benefits there. You get some things from those merchants you can't find anywhere else in the game so far. But the big thing is what you can do for your ship. Because it's like what we said before, they have all the shielded cargo, they have bigger shielded cargo, and they have the scramblers as well as the upgraded scrambler. Plus, during that story, you get something called the comm spike and the conduction grid, which actually has big benefits to the protection of your ship, as well as other little side effects, and then you can get it for free once you do the story. So I did that, and when I finished it, I had 600,000. Oh, the funny thing is, at one point in that story, you have to add 2 parts to your ship in order to be able to go to a location you couldn't otherwise, the comm spike and the conduction grid. And I was using the Starborn ship, and you can't add anything to it. And my only other option was the Frontier. In a very hard, high-level gameplay through. I wound up throwing it on there and praying as I flew over there and did it. But with the Frontier is so weak, I had to do 4 jumps just to get to the location.
Well, you can upgrade the Frontier.
I didn't want to spend the money. I had plans for that cash, man. That cha-ching was being used. So, yeah, when I started that whole thing, I had 200,000 credits. By the time I finished, I had almost 700,000, which was barely enough for me to build the ship, and it still wasn't completely enough. So I built my Jolly Roger, and it is insane. I have the comm spike, the conduction grid, the shielded cargo holes, the scan jammer, maxed out weapons. So I didn't do any autocannons. I did all manual fire. So I just have fun with that. 4 of each of the top tier weapons laid out in a wing pattern across my ship. Plus, I did the best reactor I could find currently, because I didn't have, not piloting, but it's the other one you need at level 4. Starship something? Design? Was it design? Yeah, design.
Starship design.
To get at rank 4 is the only way you can get the 40 power reactor. My current one's 38. But 40, 2 little points of power makes a big difference. So I'm going to get that one eventually, and I've been struggling with engines and how to get my engines to work better. So my engines is my current weakest thing, but I can get new engines now, and they're stupid expensive. I need another 200,000, and I spent 600,000 on this ship already. Because the mistake I made is I completely built everything on the key. I didn't go to other places to get a new reactor, or better anything. So I built everything in the key, which cost me just under 600,000. So I went around because my reactor was terrible. I was like 32. And I remembered that there's that one place in Ryujin Tower you can go to that has some of the best reactors in the game prior to getting your rank 4. And that's where I got the 38 power reactor. So that cost me another 40,000. And I went to the military one. I am so bad with names. I should have wrote this down. The other star yard where the UC uses.
Deimos.
Thank you. Rook's always good with names. I just look at him, he knows. So I went there.
I've also built more ships.
Yeah, and I upgraded every weapon. So far I'm like 50,000 into it. And it's worth almost 500,000. And I still have to do my new power reactor. I'm going to change out the landing gear because it's terrible what I have. And I want to get a new cockpit. So I'm looking at maybe my first 1 million credit ship.
I want to see if there's a way, because there's another skill that boosts the output of your reactor, and I want to see if it actually stacks on top of over the 40 once you hit 40.
Yeah, one thing I was really curious about is like all the different ship boosts you can do, because I didn't do any on my current playthrough. My guy's all combat based, mostly. So I have very little points, just enough to where I can get all the upgraded ship parts. So on my new guy, he's pirating, so I'm going to focus a lot on the shipbuilding. All right, so the things that occur afterward is that if I come across any UC SIF ships that are normally that you would go into, like you would warp to a planet and they'd be fighting pirates or something, and you would rescue them, and they'll be happy, offer you credits. Well, no, they attack me as well as the pirates at the same time. I'm attack on sight on any UC SIF. The normal UC military, like the Marines, stuff like that, they don't care. They'll leave me alone. And I went into a base and I was trying to get my artifacts. And I was sneaking around because I saw hostiles in there. Well, I thought they were. Killed a guy and it was super easy. I went up and knifed a guy and he just went, huh? Knifed him again and he died. And I thought the game was bugging or something. It was weird. Well, after killing about 5 people, I realized that they were Crimson Fleet pirates. And they were friendly. Thankfully, they didn't attack me after I killed 6 of them, but I was all stealth and secret. So I got to go through and loot the entire place and not have to fight anything, which kind of sucked. And if I come across Crimson Fleet ships in space, they leave me alone. So there's a lot of different things you can do with it. And I found a deserted UC listening post on Cyrus 2. And I found 14 rolls of toilet paper laying around, so that's the jackpot for the TP Bandit.
It was stocked up for COVID.
Yeah, and I had to quarter my ship because my ship has very little living space. It has a 2x1 hab and the cockpit. That's it. The rest of that beast is nothing but weapons and machinery. And I had the entire corner stocked up on toilet paper, and I took the time and stacked it up in a huge pyramid, and then I came back after a mission, and it was all gone. No more toilet paper.
Ouch.
Yeah.
One of your crew people really had to use the restroom.
Right.
Really, really bad, even though it's just me in there.
Or maybe you were on a deep freeze planet and they had to burn it for warmth.
Right. Or there was some kind of... I put it too close to the vents and it got sucked out with all the air intake the ship uses. Man. And apparently the game really thinks that I need legendary melee weapons because that's all I can find. I have found 7 in this playthrough and I've done 2 of the storylines. That's it.
And if you ever try and do a melee only run, you probably won't find a single one.
No, not at all. I'll find a whole bunch of like heavy weapons and stuff like that.
Sniper rifles.
Yeah. Speaking of sniper rifles, I found my ultimate sniper rifle in the game, and it came from a source I did not know about until I met them last night. It was the Mysterious Trader or something like that. What's it called, Brooke?
The Mysterious Ship.
Yeah. And apparently it's Starborn related, and yeah, I'm going to say she because it sounds like a she, offers you interesting things. And there's a sniper rifle in there. I do not know what make it is because I haven't seen it before in the game. It is a 50 caliber. Legit 50 caliber. And my damage output is 600, well, after I mod at 712. But with my ballistics, my sharpshooting, my rifles, and everything else I have in there, it came out to around 2,800 a hit. So I'm one-shotting everything, including elites. Except for high-level elites, they take 2 shots.
Yeah, she's in the game roughly in the same spot, I believe, and she actually...
stays around the same planet, which I did not write down like an idiot.
It gets a little confusing because when I first ran into her, she's being supportive and sounds confusing and weird, but you find out who she is after you go into your New Game Plus.
Oh, okay.
It makes it a lot more entertaining because she does... I don't know if it's the same for every individual, if her inventory is set the same, but she does offer a lot of unique weapons.
Nice. Yeah, she does. Really good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The sniper rifle I got was blue, but the one trait it had on it was it gives me more time for holding my breath while aiming. It doubles it effectively. And I stabilize that rifle so well I don't even need to use it.
Personal atmosphere will do that too.
Yeah, it will. But I'm busy using a different power to see everybody. All right, so I plan on using that character to get to level 100. I've been using him to get all my achievements. So he's going to be my first 100 when I get there, but currently I'm at 64. Or no.
Hey,
yeah, 64. Yeah.
Are you aware that you can put your powers on your hotbar?
Yes.
And you can use more than one at a time?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
But my hotbar is currently took with all weapons. I literally have that many.
One weapon I use.
I have 2 weapons.
I use one weapon and then the rest of my hotbar is all just like...
Well, I got that sniper rifle. That's pretty much the only thing I've been using. Other than a pistol I have for up close, which I modded out.
or my mag shear, whatever I happen. I just love mag shears. They're so good.
We each have our own preferences, that's for sure. And I can't use my sniper rifle in my next playthrough, which is going to make me cry a little bit. We'll talk about that next episode for sure.
I want a mag shear.
Yeah. So, Archon, you have a lockpick overview.
Okay, so the number one thing that you need to know about lockpicking, and it will change the entire way you look at the lockpicking system. Every tier of the lock takes two, whatever you want to call them, two lock choices, So every tier takes two. So if whatever you're trying takes three different, then you did it wrong. You can solve every single tier of it with only two. And that's like the huge thing that'll save you so much time on lockpicking. So what you want to do is you want to find... It's easier once you get to like rank 2, because once you get to rank 2, then... Or no, I think it's even just rank 1, where they turn blue.
Rank 1.
Rank 1, they turn blue. So you'll know you can use that one on that tier, and you want to find the two that go together to solve that tier. And then you'll go down to the next tier, and then you find the two together that solve that tier. And if you look at it in twos, it'll save you a ton of time. Because I notice a lot of people are always trying to solve it in one lock or 3 locks or whatever. It's always twos. It'll always be twos.
I've had a couple locks on Master that did require 3.
They shouldn't.
It did. But it's probably because I used the wrong one in the prior stage and had to use another one to make up.
Yeah, you might have used the wrong one in a different stage, because usually, like, actually 100% of the time, I've looked this up and everything. It's always 2. Every single lock can be solved with 2 at a time. And every now and then I have noticed where it'll glitch, where it'll show like one doesn't work, but yet you'll have it sitting there and you'll be like, it's perfect. Like, why does this say this isn't blue?
Because one of the notches will disappear when you solve the previous one, or when you put the first key in. I've had that happen a few times.
No, I mean, like, it'll show up as white instead of blue, and you'll like have it lined up perfectly. You can still use it too. Like, when you use it, it'll still work.
I don't know if you mentioned this yet, but I noticed that when you pick one of the locks, it'll light up blue on each stage it's good for.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you can actually line up, if you're not 100% sure which ones you need, you can actually line up the other levels too to make sure the one you want to use is going to be the one you need.
And you can tab between them. You don't have to click them. You can tab between them, which is nice.
I never put in my final point into lockpicking because it wasn't worth it to me.
I think the last one is the only one is where it actually removes
the keys that are not
all
needed.
The ones you don't need, and that is kind of useful.
But you have to use Digipick to do that.
Another really, really big tip. I saw this one online. I kind of already did it anyway, but I saw it online. If you get into a lock and you start getting confused, say you're 2 or 3 levels down or something, and you start getting confused, something's not lining up right, do not go back. Just cancel out of the lock completely and go back into it.
It'll save you keys.
Yeah, canceling out costs 1 digipick. Every time you go back, costs you 1 digipick. So if you go back like 5 spots, you're going to use 5 digipicks as opposed to just using 1 to completely go out of the lock and come back.
That's a good tip.
Now, the flip side to that is if you only need to go back 1 or 2, still go back just 1 or 2. You'll use that extra digipick. But if you go all the way back, there's a chance that you'll have to redo all of those locks, and it changes what the lock looks like every time you go back in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you don't know where you made your mistake, then
yeah, that's different.
It's better to just go out and back in. You save yourself a lot of digipicks. So just remember, think of it in twos, and you'll breeze right through those locks. It's so easy. It's probably the simplest lockpick game I've played in any game ever. So
I do it quickly by finding the first one that I think is going to line up, and I'll look at the remainder, match it, go get that one, line it up, and then click both of them to reveal the next stage.
Yeah.
It it minimizes the amount of times you'll have to redo it. All right, so we have a faction of the week, guys, like we promised. And Rook's got all the information on that, and he's got some information.
Yeah, I got a lot of information in a short amount of time to cover it. So we did the Twitter, or X, poll, and out of 9 votes, we had a tie between the Freestar Collective and the House of Varun. Well,
how did we have a tie if there was 9 votes?
Because he had more than just 2 choices?
We had 33.3% on 2 of the 4 choices.
Okay. All right. That makes more sense then.
All right. But I was going through, and I don't have enough lore to cover the House of Varun at this point in time. So we're going to choose the Freestar Collective. And I kind of like the Freestar Collective because they're more along my personal beliefs in real life, and because they remind me of Firefly.
Well, you don't believe in a giant serpent?
Wait, Firefly? We haven't mentioned that show in a couple episodes.
I know, right?
Not in a while, yeah.
All right, so let's get to it. Freestar Collective was founded in 2189 as an alliance between Cheyenne and Volai. That was founded 1 year after Solomon Coe invited Volai, however you say it, to join. They are a libertarian confederation of colonies that provides mutual defense for each other and has massive respect for personal freedoms and individuality. That's why you don't see a lot of patrolling guards when you're in Aquila City, or you don't see a lot of ships landing, UC ships landing everywhere or along those lines. The capital city is Aquila City, and that was founded by Solomon Coe. His statue's right in the middle of it, and I would not get caught dead wearing what he's wearing inside that. All right, so now for the important parts of the Freestar Collective. It is a Council of Governors, is the quote-unquote federal governing body of the FC. That involves the governor of Aquila City, Elias Cartwright, Ron Hope, the founder of Hope Tech and Hopetown, Lara Darvish, director of the clinic, and Benjamin Bayou, administrator of Neon. So they deal with the overall federal aspects of the government, protect treaties and whatnot. That was all them.
And I've learned that they can be corrupt too.
Yes, they can.
Yeah, they can.
Ron Hope.
Yeah.
Benjamin Bayou.
Yeah, but so just like any politicians, they can be corrupt, but they don't interfere with the individual running of the colonies. Aquila City's governor runs Aquila City. He cannot tell another colony how to run itself. And then their law enforcement arm, while there are local law enforcement and local security, there are the Freestar Rangers. According to in-game lore, there's roughly a dozen of them. They cover 3 systems, and I'll get into that next. So, 2194, the Narian system is votes to join the Freestar Collective, which they do. After that vote, UC puts the clinic, Star Station, into their system and refuses to move it. Narian believed this was a sign of annexation, and so the FC sent ships in 2195 to protect Narian. The United Colonies responded to this action by sending an entire fleet. So 1 year later, FC sends an entire fleet, and this kicks off the Narian War. It lasts for, I forgot exactly how many years. I didn't write that information like an idiot.
Welcome to my world.
But after the war, the Treaty of Narian was created between the UC and the FC. The FC lost that war, but they had some generous concessions. The UC ceded Narian to Freestar Collective, but the Freestar Collective had to pay reparations for the cost of the war by giving up mineral rights on many of the worlds. This peace treaty also was the first document using the term settled systems. So this is where the settled systems started being calling what they are now. And the reason why we have only 3 systems per faction was because of this treaty. The Treaty of Narion limited Alpha Centauri, Wolf, and Sol to the United Colonies, and Cheyenne, Narion, and Volai to the FC. So a few years later, life's going on, happy and all that. 2308 comes around, and the Freestar Collective decides to try colonizing Vesta in the Lunara system, which the UC cites as a violation of the Treaty of Narion, claiming the collective was trying to colonize its fourth system, which is against the Treaty of Narion. Vesta, the colony, gets raised by the United Colonies, and raised in this term, I mean by destroyed, and that kicks off the colony war. It's a brutal war. There's a lot of lives lost on each side.
And didn't that also include the Varun?
The Varun were part of this one at the end for the armistice. But the war was primarily between my mind just went blank.
United Colonies
and the Freestar Collective. Because the Freestar Collective violated the treaty in the eyes of the UC. So the first biggest battle, the most devastating battle that you'll learn about it when you're doing the Freestar Collective mission. The first cavalry was decimated during this battle, and it's the Battle of Nera, and it was the first battle where the UC used Xeno warfare.
Yeah.
And there was many losses on both sides during this. I'm not going to spoil the entire quest line. Just know that the first cavalry was led by Major Paxton Hull, and he holds a massive grudge against the Council of Governors. Ultimately, the ultimate battle that decided this war, though, was the Battle of Cheyenne. The fleet's battle above this in the space surrounding Cheyenne. The UC sent a massive fleet, and the Freestar Collective sent civilian and military ship combos, and they used hit and run tactics against the UC, taking out many of their major ships, and it was a clear, decisive victory against the UC fleet. Think of the American Revolution versus the British ships. The British fleet in that time frame. That's the kind of battles they had. Ultimately, there was an armistice agreed upon. After the mass casualties, all sides decided to sit down and say, hey, let's bring this to a bloody conflict to an end. House Varun was also part of this. In 2311 is when they agreed high-ranking officials in UC would be charged for their crimes. All xenotech and mech warfare would be outlawed, and all the xeno warfare information and a lot of other information during the wars was stored in a vault nobody can activate without all three sides agreeing.
We get a lot into that war and that side of it when you do the UC questline too.
Yeah, the UC questline talks more about the colony war. The Freestar Collective is all about that one decisive battle and Major Paxton Hull. But yeah, I find them more relatable in the way I would want to live, in the kind of systems I would want to live in. But remember, when you're doing these stories, Bethesda did a very good job of
making them biased,
making them biased, and the stories being written by the victors. So this is the quick rundown of the history up to the point where you're in game of the Freestar Collective. And yes, there is plenty of animosity. I've actually done a couple of very minor side quests where they're surprising that you actually get to see that angst between each other. Yeah. Between the two sides.
I know exactly which one you're talking about that plays heavily on that too.
Mm-hmm.
I did it recently.
I've done it twice already.
I did it as a UC operative, so that was definitely interesting.
I did it as a Freestar Collective citizen and as a UC native. So I've seen both sides of it. It's pretty cool.
All right, thanks for that rundown, man. And we'll do the other factions periodically through the episodes, so stay tuned for that. Also, before we end tonight's episode, I want to ask you guys a quick question. We'll do a quick conversation on this. What do you guys think the first expansion is going to be about?
What's it called? Shattered Space?
I think our original prediction that we had in our earlier episodes about it being a war, I still think that's valid.
Me too.
Especially with the rise of the Crimson Fleet and the Varun.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I think just the sheer title of Shattered Space makes me think that there's going to be a giant conflict of some sort, which usually is a war in games like this. So
now, my opinion has changed a little bit now that I know about the Starborn. So, is it going to be a battle amongst all the Starborn, though? Because the way the story is written, it makes me wonder what kind of battles we're going to see.
Yeah,
if
maybe.
It is a war.
I was thinking Varun mostly because the Crimson Fleet depends on which way you go. I don't know how they would play that into an overarching story because it's so different depending on which side you take.
And the House of Varun, you don't see a lot of.
There's not much.
We don't know much about them yet.
We don't go to their worlds.
It could also be like a completely different. I mean, obviously, kind of a spoiler alert, but everybody knows about it at this point. Obviously, this game revolves around a multiverse. The Shattered Space could be just like a multiverse shattering open, and all these different worlds colliding, type of thing too.
I still think they're going to have an expansion based on the Varun, though, especially when you do Andrea's story and you get a deeper look at the Varun. Yeah, there could be so much content they can do with that. I'm really curious about them.
I do have an answer for you, by the way, Widget. Don't waste your time making a character just to find out if the Varun changes Andrea's story, because it does not. I've seen several people mad about the fact that she still obsesses over you not being part of her religion, even when you are a part of her religion, which is kind of silly.
That might be something they patch in later with the expansion or something.
Kind of like the thing I was mentioning to you guys yesterday about the whole Walter thing in the main story when he's like, I've never seen a ship like that, when you're literally on a Starborn ship. It's like, what? Okay.
Yeah, there's little holes like that, but when you have a game with so many different story angles and branches, it's pretty hard to fill them all in.
Yeah, especially when you're dealing with the multiverse and all that.
Yeah,
I can't wait till that first expansion.
Oh, I did have my new game plus 3. There was a change in the universe. The doors of the lodge were different. That's the only thing I found that was different.
So I am finding out that it's most likely the issue I ran into with my alternate reality one I had, where the hunter was the only one in the lodge. That one is... The issue I ran into seems to be more a bug than anything else, because other people have said when they go into the alternate universes, they're able to save. So I think that one might have just been a bug.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up this episode right here. It's been awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed episode 10, our first milestone episode. Each milestone episode, I'm going to try to do something special for you guys. Again, email us at starfieldраw@gmail.com. Give us a rundown of which one of our challenges you chose: the evil route, the passive route, the middle ground route. And we can also post somewhere about the rules as well if you guys need those. And let us know what your experience is, what you're doing, what kind of crazy things happened for you. And we'll be getting to ours on our next episode. And please follow us on X at Starfield Raw, all one word. You can follow us on Facebook as well, Starfield Raw, and join our Discord. You can find information on both our X and our Facebook, and you can follow me individually on Twitter, aka X, at the Widget, WIGIT, all one word.
You can find me at the Archon 606 on X as well.
And you can find me on X at Rook 213.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope you have a fantastic week. Enjoy these challenges. I know we are. It's already looking interesting, and we'll talk to you later.
Have a good week, guys.
Later, everybody.